we'll get into it's 265, right?
265. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Outlaw Pigs podcast. Manscaped. Shave your balls.
Oh,
I did the read for you. See that?
Is that what we're doing? Manscaped, shave your balls. There you go. There you go, guys. Thanks for that, Dan. That was an excellent sponsor read. If it's all right with you, I might.
We've actually literally just been testing these against the web. Well, say we.
Oh. I'm glad that's gone where I'm glad that sentence is going where it said we were not shaving each other's balls.
We were not.
We were not testing it like
not
that.
Today.
No, that's not after last time.
That's for the Patreon account.
There you go.
We've just been testing this on Mystery's the web between his fingers.
Yeah. Well, we were persuading him to try and wax it. That was not happening.
He wasn't having it.
And
or singe him with a candle. He wasn't having that either.
No. Anyway. So yeah, I think he's going to have a crack, isn't he? Yeah. Excuse the pun. You can shave that as well if you want. Manscaped have just launched their 4.0 performance package, the same package that we are trying to persuade Mystery to use and utilise. So the performance package comes with the razor, obviously.
Oh. I love the little lights on the end.
Ceramic blade, light. You're not going to make any slip-ups with that. It comes with the ear and nose trimmer, which I'm particularly interested in.
The weed whacker.
Yeah, the weed whacker. That's the one.
Stick in all your orifices.
Yeah.
Most of them.
About that.
Most of them. Most of your orifices.
We do not condone shoving that in all of your orifices, just so we're on the same page here. We also have a reviver, a ball toner, which Mystery is all about, and a ball deodorant. And if you buy this particular performance package, it will come with this very nice this wash bag. You can put everything in. What was that program?
It's like QVC, this, isn't it?
No, what was the program when it all trailed in front and you had to remember it?
Oh, there was always a cuddly toy on it, wasn't there?
Yeah, what was it called?
Fucking hell.
Wrong
podcast.
Yeah,
definitely. I wouldn't know that.
Wrong people, wrong podcast. You'll also get a pair of free underpants, free boxer shorts when you buy the performance package. So there you go. That is the new Manscaped 4.0. Manscaped are the leaders in male grooming. They have sold over 2 million male grooming packages, which is very impressive and great for their books, I would imagine.
That's 4 million balls that have been shaved.
Yeah, well, yeah, give or take a couple maybe. Might be a few injuries along the way.
That's true.
The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, weed whacker, ears, nose and hair trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant, crop reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies in.
Look at all that.
There you go. If you go to manscaped.com and use the code FULLREPTILE, you will get 20% off and free shipping.
And free shipping.
Happy days. And free shipping. Right. I need to circle back to Beer 52 because we did the read on the last day of the month. And I believe we said all of your beers are going to come from.
Oh, did you fuck it up?
The wrong country. Yeah, I kind of fucked it up.
Of course you did.
We're going to circle back around. Beer 52 is the biggest beer club in the UK. Every month they deliver a case of craft beer directly to your door. Each month is a different theme, and do not listen to which theme I tell you it is because it's quite likely to be something else from experience. If you go to beer52.com/OP, you'll be able to claim a free case of beer. All you have to do is pay the postage. This month's theme is Chicago. What did I say last week? Croatia. It's not Croatia. It's Chicago. Vastly different. So all of your craft beers will be from the windy city of Chicago. By claiming your free case, you'll join their monthly beer subscription at £24 a month. If you no longer want to continue with that, you can pause or you can cancel at any time. But jump on board at beer52.com/OP and you will get the first case of beer for free.
And we would have them all on the table here in front of us had the Raptors not drank them.
Yeah, they've just guzzled them, but they were from Croatia.
I saw Mystery rubbing one in his armpits. I don't know what.
As long as he's not trying to shave his balls with them,
that's true.
Then we're probably ahead of the game. So there we go. We also have a couple of little bits of news, don't we? So we've relaunched the Full Reptile website, which is looking very dapper, if I don't say so myself. Loads of new lifestyle t-shirts, loads of new training t-shirts, all on the website. for reptile.co.uk. It's looking pretty cool, and there's heaps of new stuff on there. New snapbacks, new t-shirts, everything's on there. So jump on there, go and have a look and check that out. And the last thing we've got to say is Roughhouse Uncensored. The highest, right now. The highest risk product that we put out there.
We picked a new tagline yesterday for the show, didn't we? The tagline for Roughhouse Uncensored is "Not for mums."
It's definitely not for mums.
Not for mums.
It is uncensored by name and by nature, but it is hilarious. It gives you a real deep insight into what's going on up at the gym. And the most important thing, on the Patreon account, there's a lot more coaching detail. So you get a behind-the-scenes look at Dan and Jimmy coaching our pro team, and it's very good. It's very insightful. It's very worth it. So jump on Patreon /Full Reptile, and you will be able to see the goings on up at the gym with the pro squad.
Yeah, it's like
and laugh a lot.
£3 a month, or
£3,
$4.50.
Yeah,
$4.50, something like that. But but normally an episode on YouTube would be somewhere between sort of 6 and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The most recent Patreon's 43 minutes long.
Yeah, right.
And
So it's between 30 and 45 minutes. Yeah. A lot of coaching, a lot of detail. Yeah. It's a good insight. It's
a good way of absorbing information without watching instructionals, because they tend to drag a little bit.
Well, it's natural as well, isn't it? Yeah. Like this is how it's being taught.
Yeah.
And
seeing people doing it as well and struggling with it and being corrected.
And you get to watch Jimmy just smash everyone into a million pieces.
Honestly, it's hilarious.
Always.
Like there's one premiere in tonight, and I'm watching the time because it's like, okay, it's 10 to 7. Okay. Premieres at 10. I want to watch it live because I like to see other people's reactions to it.
It's unbelievable who messaged me, like people that I would not expect that would want to watch it, and they love it.
It's like only a small demographic of people have found it, but the ones that have found it are like addicted to it.
Absolutely love it. It is, it's real reality TV, in it.
Well, we'll just keep it going, and it will follow us into the new gym and all the guys fighting, and we can travel with them on the road and all that kind of stuff. And
Josh wants to go to Ibiza for the 100th episode.
Okay. We can't be that far off it already, though. That's the problem.
I know.
I'll be like next Thursday or something.
I'm going to Ibiza, by the way. Do the Picks podcast
That'd
out
be
there.
A mess.
Yeah, jump on. It's well worth it.
Yeah.
Bellator.
Hang on. Patreon.com /Full Reptile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll put all of the those details in the description below. That's what we're doing, it. Subscribe below.
That's the thumbnail for the episode. You pointing at your shaven balls.
Shave your balls.
Manscaped. Okay.
Bellator.
Yeah. Let's talk about that first.
Well, he said he was going to do it.
Yeah.
And he did do it.
Yeah.
And he won himself $1 million.
It was beautiful.
Fair play.
It was such a slick performance.
Great timing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Great timing on the kick.
And he'd said in the build up to it that he was going to do it with the body kick.
Yeah.
He threw the body kick and it got blocked.
Beautiful.
Set it up perfectly for the head kick next time around.
So my question to you is, that's a tough transition across if you come into the UFC. So where does AJ fit? Let's start at the bottom of those rankings. Where does AJ sit with Shane Burgos?
Okay.
Evloev? Can he be? Is he on the same level as Chikadze? That's a tough group of people.
It's a very tough division. I mean, I could see him competitive with any of them, though. To be honest, there are going to be some people that he'd struggle with more than others. I mean, anybody in the world, regardless of weight class, would struggle with the pace that Max Holloway sets.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. The toughness of Chan Sung Jun, you'd have to do something significant to put him away. Rodrigues is a wild card. You can always pull something out of his pocket, so you've always got to be measured with him. Ortega, as we've seen in his fight against Zombie, excellent boxing, real measured, great guillotines. I mean, it's a problematic division, and obviously, Volkanovski is the champion.
I just think, I was just trying to think to myself, well, would he even get past Burgos and Evloev? Do you know what I mean? They're 13 and 14 in that division. That's how strong that division is.
But then you could take Evloev and put him up in the top 5 right now, and he'd
probably hang anyway, wouldn't he? Yeah.
It's such a deep division.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say he's competitive with any of those guys in that division, really. I think, obviously, he struggles with the higher volume guys, the likes of Max Holloway. Someone's got a good takedown. Brian Ortega, Max Holloway, I think would be the most problematic for him.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, Bellator up for it, isn't they? But I can't imagine that US no chance in it. No way.
No chance. They learned that lesson when they took Chuck over to Pride to fight Rampage. and he got thrown around.
Never again. No. Anyway, congratulations to AJ McKee.
Yeah, he looked awesome. There was some really good fights on the card. Obviously, Mads Burnell won an awesome decision over Emmanuel Sanchez. What were the other ones I was talking about? Usman Nurmagomedov.
Right.
That was a really nice knee to the midsection.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yamauchi. Yeah, Goichi Yamauchi.
Nice.
Took Gonzalez. Well remembered, Jamie. I've got so much swimming around in my head at the moment. Yeah, he pinged Gonzalez and handed him his first loss.
Right.
Yeah, he was very good. It was a good card. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good. And again, it's just nice being able to watch it on iPlayer, isn't it?
For sure.
Very cool. The only thing, I wasn't mad about this fight night. There's just been the only thing I thought was a point of interest we could talk about is the sort of insight that you've confused me on her name now. Cheyenne Bays as the insight that she brought when she won the performance of the night. It just sort of showed you how if the sport isn't tough enough, actually financing being an athlete in this sport is so difficult. You know, she's going in. It's not her first fight. You know, she's been around a little while. And she's in the negative coming into that fight. So even just in general life, if you're in your overdraft, that's a stressful situation. Now you're laying in weight cuts and actual performance on top of it, and worrying about the purse that she's going to get paid, aside from the bonus. Like, is that actually going to cover everything, or am I just back to square one, and now I have to do that whole process again, back in debt? Diet myself down, try and perform just to get, just on the hope that you get that big performance and suddenly everything goes right. And,
it's rough, but, the way it seems to be, and now it was weird because I was tidying out my office the other day and I found a couple of checks, like bonus checks that I got from the UFC.
You didn't bother cashing them.
They were the stubs, the receipts from them. And like, I remember looking at them and thinking to myself, like, I remember how I felt when I received that, and I remember where I was at and, financially when I received that. And like my first fight, I was 3-3, right? I fought co-main event at the O2 Arena for 5-5 against Roy Markham.
It's outrageous.
And I think I got a $10,000 bonus. So that doubled what I made that night. But what I made that night, person win bonus, didn't cover training camp.
No,
I mean, I'd spent you get through more money than you think with treatments and with travel and with if you're traveling to to train and accommodation and that kind of stuff. And
it's just rough, isn't it? You just don't need that in this sport.
Well, the point I was going to make is that then all of a sudden that bonus money becomes the golden carrot, and it becomes the all-wielding power that the UFC have got over these fighters, because it's like, they just dangle that carrot over the octagon for every single fight.
It's getting bigger as well, isn't it? They keep like nudging it a little bit.
Bumping that up, but then, people are still signing contracts for...
And the mad thing is, it's discretionary. So it's like, oh yeah, I like that fight, you can have it. Do you know what I mean? Which is great. I know they use it as a... they use it as a tool, so they do have to give it when it's due to be given. Otherwise, the tool's not going to work. But I mean, we've spoken about before how sort of in team sports you go through the academy and you've got no money in the academies and stuff, and then you break through to the first team, and then you're at the bottom end of the first team, and you maybe get a couple of appearances, and when you get an appearance, you get a performance bonus in a sense. And then you keep working until you're a regular first team player, and now you're sort of making some decent money. But the minimums in team sports is still higher than what the minimums in this sport is. Yeah. And the sport, the complexity and difficulty and risk in this sport, I think deserves more. Agreed. As a baseline, it's a bit like universal income, right? Yeah. There should be some kind of decent, livable universal income for these guys that are doing something that 99.9% of people in the world can't do. Yeah, that's what you're paying them for. The thing is, as well, if you're the UFC, if you're the sports leader, you've got to think about where you're going to be in, 25, 50 years, 100 years. Some of these like leagues have been around for a long time, and they have changed little bits over the years. But like, if the UFC wants to stay the prominent force in MMA, you don't want people retiring or, waiting out their contracts and then turning on the UFC pissed off like a lot of fighters are.
Like there was a thing I was watching today that Bloomberg put up about the class action lawsuit, and it goes through, like they interview Kyle Kingsbury and Nate Quarry and Kung Lee, and you know there's a whole bunch of people on there that are talking about this is what happened, this is how
someone
shit
in the someone in the UFC office just twitched when you said lawsuit.
But you know it's coming, and you know the first thing that most likely is going to happen is the Ali Act will transition over to MMA as well, which will then, you know, it will change the business practices of the UFC because they won't be able to keep people locked in a contract, which means that, you know, GSP might be able to cross over and fight, you know, who was it, De La Hoya who was going to fight?
Yeah.
You know, that might be able to happen. Or, you know, AJ McKee will be able to wait out his contract for 12 months and then sign with the UFC or, you know, whatever. But it gives the fighters more freedom because they can't be bound into contracts. And then with the class action lawsuit, that's all about how much money was made over the period of time, you know, when the UFC were paying fighters 3 and 3.
Yeah.
And
what were they making?
Silly money.
I mean, yeah, you know, they're floated now, aren't they? So they're accountable to their board and their shareholders and what have you. But
the thing that doesn't make sense, though, right, is the other thing as well is so first of all, you don't want fighters retiring and having a sour taste in their mouth from the UFC. Second of all, you don't want fighters retiring and then having to go and get regular jobs because they don't have any cash in the bank. Yeah. Like Brian Kelleher tweeted the other day about he needs a YouTuber because he doesn't want to get a job at Walmart. Like, you want Brian Kelleher to open a gym. Cheyenne Bays, like, you want her to be able to invest her time fully in MMA so she can get as good as she can, so that raises the bar, raises the standard. Like, you know, that's the thing. Is like,
it's got to be a great. There's got, even as the mega corporation that is the UFC, that is cutthroat capitalist. My perception, at least, is cutthroat capitalist. I'll do whatever I need to do to, you know, win and be at the top. There's got to be a greater good, surely.
You would think, but that's
for the sport.
Corporations are the get around for the greater good, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, I'll send you this. I'll send you this video. I'll just try and find it now. It's Bloomberg Quick Take. 427,000 views. It's an interesting video. It's about 15 minutes long.
I know there's some heat around that lawsuit, like it is. Yeah. It's the unsaid thing within the organisation, I think.
It's coming up. I mean, there are 1,200 fighters, 1,200 UFC fighters involved in it automatically, 1,214 to be exact. Unless they actually opt out of it, which I'm sure most fighters wouldn't. But, you know, even like I'm not bothered if no money comes of it at all. I want the culture
practices to be changed.
Exactly that. Yeah. Because like the guys that we're bringing through now, I don't want them to be signing contracts for 10 and 10 and that kind of stuff when they're making the organisation they're fighting for 6 figures or more. You know? Yeah.
We'll see what comes of it. Eh? Just as we were talking, something from Clubhouse just popped up. How did you do that one, host that one thing with Clubhouse?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. René Derrida joined us for a bit as well.
Nice.
I had a good chat with him.
I didn't catch it this time. I caught the last one. I didn't catch this one.
No, it was good. It was good. Yeah. And that Samay Prajan-Chai fight in the main event, just, they're both so slick, so skilled. Yeah. Really, really good fight. And then Siti Chai against Tawan Chai has just been announced as well. I think we're going to do some stuff for that on the channel.
Yeah. Wicked.
Really good stuff. Anything you want to talk about on the UFC, aside from Cheyenne Bays being poor, aside from that $50,000 bonus, which, you know, you go, what, 35% tax, and then, you know...
Yeah, what do you actually take home from that? No, pay your overdraft off and a bit more. Yeah. Maybe take everyone for lunch. Bit about it, innit?
And
it's reality, innit?
Yeah.
Not particularly anything you want to talk about?
No. Jared Gooden looked good. Jared Gooden looked good. Melsick looked good. The Gritzmacher Hafer Garcia fight was just a bloodbath, as we expected. Jinju Frey Ashley Yoda, what they say the point of difference would be is the strength of physicality, and Ashley Yoda just didn't look strong enough or fast enough.
No.
She had a couple of good sprints in it, but Jinju Frey generally looked stronger. I felt bad for Ryan Benoit. I thought he had a good performance. It was it was a rough one. He didn't knock him down in the first, or caught him and hurt him, but then the calf kick started to land after that and just sapped his energy. And then Phil Rowe looked really good against the Ryan Kosei, and Phil Rowe's talking to V in a couple of hours,
nice.
So there'll be there'll be a bit going on.
That's cool. So we'll get that up in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sean Strickland's style's fucking ugly, and I don't care. I don't care the shit I got for it. It's an ugly style.
Yeah.
But, you know, it works. It's like being waterboarded, you know. It's like...
It'll make you talk in the end.
Yeah, he just walks you down and just jabs your face off. And,
He's tough. Like, he's a tough dude, isn't he?
Tough,
Like,
durable. A little bit crazy, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But Uriah is just... He breaks mentally so quickly.
He's leaning in on that crazy in the press conferences and stuff a little bit.
Is. Yeah.
Not sure how
he's a bit
calculated it is or...
Yeah, we need to keep an eye on him. He's the kind of person that like, blow up a hospital or something. Bit of a lunatic. Okay.
Right.
265.
Yeah. Right down the bottom. Johnny Munoz and Jamie Simmons, right?
Yes. Hang on, let me pull it up on. Okay, go on.
He was so Johnny Munoz was undefeated coming into the UFC.
Yeah.
And then dropped his first fight for the UFC. But having said that, Jamie Simmons came in and got given Giga on his first
and got
first crack
bad.
at it, and then got Chikadze.
Yeah.
Bad, didn't he?
Yeah.
But they're both in a bit of a tough spot. It's a good, when two people in a tough spot come together, it's a good chance for one of them to sort of right the ship, isn't it, and get things going again.
Yeah. I think the UFC expectation is that Johnny Munoz wins this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a strong grappler. He's probably got the height and reach advantage slightly. I know that Jamie
he was good against Nate Maness.
Yeah.
And I reckon in that first round, but he was in super dominant position, was beating on him, and another 20 seconds of that might have been, that could have been a win. Mm-hmm. Now I know he sort of dropped off the cliff a bit, and Nate turned that fight quite significantly, didn't he?
But Johnny couldn't get the fight to the floor after that, could he?
No, he did great in round. He did great in round one.
There was a transition that he looked really strong holding top position. It was like a Kimura. He took his back, and then he was in mount, and then he had like 30 seconds at the end of the fight. Yeah. But I just think. I felt like there was enough in that first round where like, okay, he's got some game here. He can, he can do. He's got a flow that can end up in a finish. I can see that sort of working. There's not much to sort of say about Simmons really, other than I thought he got caught in the headlights with Giga. He's a bit like, oh shit, there's a lot going on here, and just couldn't really get off, and was just a bit like, oh yeah, I'm waiting here to get. I mean, it was a jumping competition.
Yeah.
If you look at if you look at the dates of it as well, so his fight before he lost to Giga, he was on a 3-fight win streak. He'd stopped 2 guys in the first round with punches, and 1 guy in the second round with a rear naked choke. But he's got what 5-2, 20-12, and 16-11 are the guys that he's fighting, and I mean Giga's just such a step up. I mean, he's headlining next against Barbosa.
Yeah, that's how fast things have developed.
Was it a short notice fight? Did Giga have somebody else lined up and they pull out? Let's have a quick look.
Giga seemed keen for anyone.
No, he didn't.
No.
Maybe they just needed a couple of highlight reels for him.
Well, you don't know. You don't know the story behind what their plans are and stuff.
He was a minus 900 favourite going into that one. It was like the bookies had it as a mismatch. I don't think this is nearly as much of a mismatch. I mean, they've got about the same amount of experience. I just think Johnny's more familiar with winning, and I think the expectation on the UFC part is that he's probably going to come in and probably take him down and beat him up.
Yeah, I took Johnny over, thinking Johnny overall probably has a bit more game. Yeah. Cool.
UFC stats. Let me just so. Dun 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 dun. So which one are you going, Johnny?
Yeah,
Johnny Munoz. Okay.
Johnny Munoz Jr.
Victoria Leonardo against Melissa Gatto.
Yeah. I think we've talked about Leonardo before.
Yeah.
She came through the Contender Series, didn't she? She just has a bit of a mixed. She just does a mixed run, doesn't she? She's sort of up and down, struggles to string stuff together, and she's lost twice to Miranda Maverick.
Yeah.
And she's a bit. That's when we spoke about her against Firo. Those two fought, it was just ended up being a bit of a mismatch, didn't it? And she got the shit beat out of her a little bit. She finished with a head kick.
Yeah.
Finishing Firo looked really good, didn't she?
Yeah.
We were impressed with her.
This is much more of an evenly matched fight. I'd say Melissa Gatto's got an odd record. She's
very odd.
6-0-2, and it's and
she's 24.
Yeah.
But she hasn't fought since 2018.
Yeah.
So that's a big I don't know what she's doing. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what she's doing.
I don't know.
Is she just in the gym? Like that's at that age and that level of development, sort of 3 years of just hammering it in the gym, she could come out a completely different fighter, couldn't she?
Yeah, she could, or she might have just disappeared
she might be on the piss for 3 years. Who knows?
I mean, I did watch her last fight, and it was. I mean, she just held top position and just smashed her up.
She's got 4. So 4 of her 6 wins are from subs. So she's got some. She's got a submission game.
Yeah, she's had a lot of cancelled bouts as well.
Yeah,
was that 6 cancelled bouts? Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of. I kind of don't have an opinion on this, really. I mean, I think Victoria Leonardo she's a good fighter. I think she proved that in Invicta. She had good performances in Invicta. She's physically very strong. She's got a good kicking game. I think has she got a taekwondo background?
Yeah.
But there are certain ranges where she did look uncomfortable on the feet.
Physically, she looks strong, but she doesn't look.
She does.
She doesn't look powerful. She doesn't look bouncy or elastic. She's just like solid and strong.
Mm-hmm.
She's which when you said taekwondo, I was like, oh shit, okay. Then people from taekwondo generally are quite elastic, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
But she seemed almost flat-footed and a bit sort of ploddy when she fought Firo.
A little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna coin toss it and go Victoria Leonardo. I just think she's got good experience at Invicta level competition. She's had a couple of rough ones she's had one rough one in the UFC against Manon Farrow, who was on fire.
Yeah, very good, very good. I'm gonna go Gatto because she's just been in the gym. She's been hammering it for 3 years. She's not left. She's sleeping there.
Got a split pick.
Yeah,
you create more
she's
work for Raptors.
Living and breathing it.
They have to do 2 stamps now. Okay, next one. Miles Johns against Anderson Dos Santos.
There we go.
I was watching one of Dos Santos's fights earlier today, and Bisping in the commentaries his name's from a Brazilian name generator.
What? Add 3 names together and see what comes up.
There's just so many Andersons and so many Dos Santos. It's like Smith and Brown from the UK,
He's fought some good people outside of the UFC. Ricky Simon and Saeed Nurmagomedov.
Yep.
He's got a lot of experience, but he's 36 now. I think he's getting on a little bit.
Is he 36?
I think so.
Yeah, he is. 85.
Yeah. He's getting on a bit.
Yeah, he looked good against Martin Day, but I felt like Martin Day kind of jumped into that guillotine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was like, Martin Day's he was a 4th degree black belt. Martin Day is in Taekwondo, so at range, his kicking game is on point. But he got closed down, he got taken down, and then he was able to reverse the position and then went to take him down in the scramble, which I just don't think he wanted to do.
Yeah, why?
And he was in the guillotine for a while without really doing anything to fight it, and it was an arm in guillotine as well. And at Dos Santos just kind of adjusted and tweaked it a bit more and got the tap. It was, he had a good fight against Andre Ewell, but he seemed to struggle with the range and with the fact that he's southpaw. Like Ewell's kind of awkward and he covers distance really quickly, and he's kind of got a odd herky-jerky kind of rhythm to him, and height and reach advantage plus southpaw, but he was able to get Ewell down in the 3rd round as well.
We just got Dos Santos at sort of 36 but experience, and then you got Miles John at 11-1 and sort of in his prime. I think he's 27.
Yeah.
He isn't by the time you're at 11-1 and you're at 27, things are starting to come together a little bit, aren't they?
27. I mean that the loss to Batista. The problem is he's quite predictable in the fact that he backs up quite straight, and then when you put him under pressure against the fence, he generally never moves left or right. He generally level changes, and he does it well sometimes. Like if you think back to the Navidad fight, he was level changing onto that lead leg and snatching it and taking him down, but then finished with the uppercut in the 3rd round. But because he was able to alleviate pressure. Yeah. Whereas Batista didn't allow him to do that.
That was nice, that uppercut out of the clinch, wasn't it? Single necktie, let it go, and then
put him in a really awkward position when he landed as well, didn't it?
It pretty much knocked him off his feet, I think. Yeah, that recoil thing where you're like a fetal position in the air just for a split second.
Yeah, I'll tell you what else as well. He looks like Miles Johns looks like what Ilia Latifi would look like if he was a welterweight.
Right.
Like in that last fight against Natividad, like he just looks like a little kind of shrunk down, compact, lean Latifi.
Nice.
Like he's he looks like he'd pack a punch if he landed. But the main issue is that backing up straight and level changing down.
Yeah.
Because Dos Santos does like to pressure. He does have good striking and a lot of experience, so he's not going to be afraid pushing him around a bit. Miles Johns doesn't bring the same kind of problems that Andre Ewell does.
Right.
He's
So
not
it sounds like
or tall.
Sounds like you're meandering towards Dos Santos.
I'm just kind of throwing things on the table for you to pick. Which way were you leaning before I...
Well, yeah, just Miles John. I just thought this is his test, isn't it? Like this is the lower to mid tier gatekeeper. He needs to get past this if he's going to move on up through the ranks and towards the rankings.
Yeah.
So it's on him. Anderson Dos Santos is highly unlikely to now go on a streak and be challenging 37, 38, 39 for belts and stuff.
Probably not.
So it's on Miles John, innit? Go beat the end of level boss.
Yeah.
And then move up into that next sort of echelon.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be 12-1 then. He'd be an
It's
exciting
good,
prospect with
27,
a couple of wins.
12-1.
Yeah. Especially with a couple of knockouts. But at the same time, if he does get pressured back up against the fence and he does shoot off the fence out of reaction, Anderson Dos Santos, Dos Santos Anderson, Deardier Dos Santos, Dos Santos Dos Anderson, he's got a good guillotine.
Right.
Especially if he's got Miles Johns rocked and he backs up, level changes and just throw that out there. Miles Johns should win. He's the younger, fresher fighter with less wear and tear, and I would say he's probably got the speed advantage as well. But Dos Santos. Yeah,
you're battling with this, aren't you?
I'm all over the place.
All right.
Which way are you going?
I'm going Miles John,
Miles
but
Johns.
I can see what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go Dos Santos then, just to create more work for the Raptors.
Yeah, right. We need two different coloured stamps, please. But don't tell who's who.
I'll have gold because mine's correct. Right. Okay, I've got Manel Kape against Ode Osbourne next.
Right. Good to see Manel Kape back because we liked him, didn't we? We've talked. I think this is the third time probably he's come up.
Yeah.
And he came over from Rising where he was just banging heads left, right, and centre, wasn't he? Yeah. And then came in and got given Pantoja as your first fight in. Yeah. But I remember last time we spoke about it that it was probably because of his hype, right? Uh-huh. Like they are either paying him a fair bit of money.
Someone that's looking good in a different organisation. Yeah. That's they need to bring him over. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Here you go. Here's some cash. Come over. You can have Pantoja, by the way, as your first fight. Yeah. Oh, sweet. And he lost a close split in his second, so he's 0-2 in the UFC. Yeah, which is kind of rough. But Ode Osbourne's solid, but he's not quite. He's definitely not that Pantoja level, is he?
No, he's not.
This is someone he can come in, and it's not going to be a clear walkover, but he can win this. Mm-hmm. Like if he performs how we saw him performing Rising, he could win this fight and be good. I think he should be. I think he should be in the UFC. There seems to be enough about him where, he's in the right place. He's super skilled, super athletic. He's just a good solid fighter, and we'll see. We'll see how this plays out.
I'd expect this one to be a striking exchange unless Manel Kape catches him and gets a bit overzealous and runs into his guard. There's some triangles on Ode Osbourne's record. And that armbar on the Contender Series was super slick. I mean, it was a very quick, snap the armbar on. Plus, outside of the UFC, he's got 1, 2. He's got a couple of 3 triangles, rear naked chokes. Like that's the way that Manel Kape loses this. Is that desperation to get my first UFC win. My expectations of myself are very high. That last one was a split decision. I'm not going to let that happen. Yeah. Catches him, drops him, runs into ground and pound, and then finds himself in a triangle.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just to throw an alternative out there.
He should. You would. Yeah.
I think Manel Kape should win this one. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think Ode Osbourne's good, and I think losing to Manel Kape's not really going to slow him down. But I would like to see Manel Kape stay on the roster because like you said, he does belong in the UFC. But
The thing is,
Pantoja,
if you're getting paid a shitload of money and then you go 0-3, I know you don't get a P45 over in America,
True.
but you're in a bit of trouble, aren't you?
Yeah. So which way are you going? You going with no cap?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. This is a good one. The return of Karolina Kowalkiewicz taking on Jessica Penne.
I didn't realise what a bad streak Karolina was on. She's in a real tough spot. I think this is she's
lost 4 in a row.
4 in a row. This is a 5th one. I mean, Jessica Penne is, she's not going to be a walkover. It's still going to be. This is going to be a tough fight.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Karolina. She's lost a lot of decisions, hasn't she? It's not like she's just getting completely outclassed. She's lost 3 decisions, I think, and then she gets slept by Andrade.
Yeah, but a lot of people, of people have.
Yeah,
she got caught in an exchange early on in that one. At one point, she was right up at the top of the division.
Yeah.
Contending for, she fought Joanna for the belt at 205. Then her next fight was against Claudia Gadelha, which is one of the toughest fights in the division. Picked up 2 wins, Jodie Escobel and Felice Herrig, but then Andrade knocked her out. She lost a decision to Waterson, decision to Grasso, and then a decision to Yan Xiaonan. And I think, if I remember right, the one against Yan Xiaonan was when she had her orbital bone fractured,
right?
And she couldn't see. She couldn't see properly in the fight, so she was covering one of her eyes with her hand, so she could see one of her opponent to know where to hit. I mean, she's tough.
Yeah.
She's got to keep this in striking range, though. If you look what Joanna did to Jessica Penne, she just buzzsawed her. She hit her with elbows, she hit with punches, kicks, and just overwhelmed her. And Jessica Penne's a good black belt. She doesn't really want to be tangling up with her on the floor. That's the tipping point.
She's been away for a little while.
Who? Kowalkiewicz?
No, Penne.
Oh, they both have. I think Penne was a failed drug test, though. And Kowalkiewicz, she effectively retired after her last fight against Yan Xiaonan. I think she's got married.
So Penne came back and beat Godinez, didn't she?
Yeah.
But it was a decision, and I watched it a couple of days ago.
Decision.
And I felt like she had the chance to push in that fight to get that to decisively win that.
Yeah, but she was coming off 3 losses as well. Pressure and timeout, and it was 2017, April of 2017 to April of 2021 was the time that Penne had out, whereas Kowalkiewicz, her last fight was 2020, so she's not been out for ages. It was February 2020, and she'd no doubt been training in that time. I just think she was kind of a bit burnt out. She had tough opponents, and all of her fights were always a high pace, loads of striking.
Yeah, so Penne got popped for stenozanol, but contested it.
Got popped for what? Stenozanol.
Stenozanol, steroids. But yeah, it was 20 months. Yeah, she protested and contested it as a contaminated supplement, but she still got 20 months. That explains the gap. Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Which way are you going?
I think, Jessica should probably win it if she can get her hands on her. It's just been so long since Karolina's put a winning performance together, isn't it?
It is. But I
reckon,
could
beat her up though, couldn't she?
She could.
If she just keeps that. If she gets tied up on court, I think it could be a long night for Karolina. But yeah,
I think going off how Miesha Tate looked recently in her comeback, I think Karolina's not coming back unless she feels like she's ready to, and she's looking at this division and thinking, I can still be a contender here. I think Karolina's probably gonna win a decision, beat her up, stuff her takedowns.
Yeah, like at that Alexa Grasso fight, like they stood and banged for a little bit in that, didn't they? Like she's got that in her, she's got that game.
Yeah. That's why she got knocked out by Jessica Andrade, because
she was
too game.
Too game to play with that fire.
But I think her aggression and her volume, maybe not her power necessarily, but even Joanna's power wasn't enough to put Penne down. But she opened up with an elbow, and then just flurried against the fence till the referee stepped in.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I can see Carolina coming back with a point to prove. Like, Penne's got a win. You know, she came back after all that time off. She got a win.
She's what, 36, 37, I think?
Is she?
I think so. Let me have a quick look. Where is she? $38.
Yeah.
Yeah, 38.
Spring chicken.
Yeah.
Spring chicken.
Who's compared to you? Yeah, we'll go with that.
You're older than me.
Well, allegedly, but you know.
No, not allegedly.
You play on that way too much.
We could play a previous podcast back where you say you're 3 days older than me. It's a fucking long 3 days. Talking of a long 3 days. So you're going Penne, are you?
I'm going to, yeah. Mainly because I don't want you to talk me out of it. But I can see your point with Carolina. I can see your point, and I can definitely see how she could put that in place to beat Jessica. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I think Carolina's going to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ed Herman against Alonzo Menified.
Funny, man. I saw Ed Herman's name. I was like, come on, it feels like he's been around for decades. Turns out he has actually been around for decades. Tough in 2006. Ed Herman was on,
mate. So I remember. So when I first started to go over and train in the US, where did I go first? I went to American Top Team first with Paul Daly, and then the next time I went out there, I did a couple of weeks at ATT, and then flew over to Oregon to Team Quest. And Ed Herman was teaching at least a class a day. Yeah, and I did all of the classes for a month, so I was doing 4 classes plus the pro training in like the early afternoon. And Ed Herman and I got on like a house on fire.
Oh, really?
He was a maniac back then.
Yeah.
And I would have never thought that his style and the way that he fought would have lasted for so long. I mean,
like normally maniacs just go out in a blaze of glory, don't they?
I mean, look at what's his name, Chris Lieben. He's like a head like
that's exactly
a warm basketball now. You know what I mean?
Exactly what I was thinking about.
Like Ed Herman's a beast.
He's just like a diesel engine, isn't he? Like he's not, you know,
like a fucking Frankenstein.
You can't drive him over 200 miles an hour, but you know, if you need something pulling and you need to grind something out, Ed's your man. Yeah.
And he's been around for a long time as well. He's got good wins.
It. Like when you look on his topology, he's like a good 3. He's a good 3 scroll to get down the bottom of it.
Is that Ed Herman? Believe it or not, has got a win over Glover Teixeira.
Wow.
I'm literally just looking back through his old record now. He's got a win over Brian Ebersol back in 2004. He's got a win over Glover Teixeira. Beat Nick Thompson. Beat Dave Monet. They're good fights. And then he was into the Ultimate Fighter. So I must have trained with him. Yeah, I did. I trained with him just before the Ultimate Fighter when he was preparing for Nick Thompson.
Right.
Good fighter, though. Tough dude. Durable.
Amazing. He's
heavy
just
hitting.
Amazing he's around.
Right.
So how old is he?
I mean, if you're getting into a bar fight...
Oh, yeah.
If you're getting into a bar fight, he's made for bar fighting. He's, I mean, you know, him and Chris Lieben. Edward Benson Herman.
So,
go on, Menified.
Yeah, so Menified is 7 years younger. He's 10-2. He's in a pretty good spot. Mm-hmm. He's henchman for sure. Absolutely hench. He's got some power. Yep. The thing is that all I can see is him backing away from OSP and backing away from OSP and backing away and then and then just getting slept by him. Yeah. But I don't think he's going to have that problem with Ed, right? That's not the way this will play out.
Well, I think if this ends in the first round, Menifield's either caught him clean and knocked him out, or he's managed to put him in a position where he can tap, and it will be something compressive. You know, it'll be something like a guillotine up against the fence. I mean, like that last one against Charant, the Von Flue choke. Yeah. I mean, you know, like physiology played a big part in that. The fact that he's got
the Von Squeeze shoulders,
choke, nearly popped his head like a grape, like some of Game of Thrones. But if he can't do that against Ed Herman, if Ed Herman's tough and durable, takes a shot, he looks a bit rocked in the first round, but goes back to his stool at the end of the second round, his cornerman gives him a slap and he's like, Ed, round 2. And he's like, okay, now's when I switch on. Yeah. And then Menifield's like exhausted up against the fence with Ed Herman just boom.
He's got one of them bodies in it that you just know you get the power, but you don't get very much of it.
You don't get much of it.
So how smart are you when you use it? Yeah.
When does it go?
Nice.
And if it goes first round, like a lot of his fights,
he's in a bit of
Craig,
trouble.
Morea.
And that's Ed Herman, right? If you've blown your load, and he's still in the fight, he's gonna wear on you, and he's probably not gonna take that sub. He's gonna beat your ass.
Yep, you're gonna feel like a punch bag in a conditioning session on the ground. Just hammer fists and we might not even knock him out, but it'll be enough to beat him up into a fetal position. Yeah, right.
So we're sort of saying Menified in one, or maybe halfway through the second, but anything past that is probably swings to Herman's side.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, logic would say Menifield's going to catch him and knock him out because Ed Herman is there to be hit. He's got 14 losses on his record because he's a dice roller. But on the flip side, that toughness and experience does pay off. I'm going a little bit with my heart, and I'm going to say Ed Herman's going to stop him late second, early third. I think Menified might give everything he's got in the first round. And Frankenstein still
he's still coming. All right, I'll go with that. Ed Herman.
Okay. One for Ed. Short fuse. It's a long fucking fuse, mate. It's been burning for about 25 years now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
Draco Rodrigues.
No, that's all right. It's fine. It's not the one I was thinking.
He's got the wrong notes.
No, we're all right. We're in a funny order.
Now.
Tough Ollie's changed the mind.
Draco Rodrigues against Vince Morales.
So Draco got slept by Armen Zahabi, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
But there was
Armen Zahabi's a good fighter.
It was a good performance by him as well that night, wasn't it? And then Vince has got a decision win over Zahabi.
Yes, he has.
I swear, like matchmakers, just like, oh, that'll do.
Yeah.
Two common opponents. They're common opponent. That'll do.
But you find people are in cycles, and they get the same opponents, and they switch around places. It's a bit musical chairs. I don't necessarily know that one Armen Zahabi is the same as the other Armen Zahabi, though. Like he's seems to be very up and down in his performances for me. Like even the fights that he wins and he looks good. Sometimes it's not him. When he's on fire, when he's on point, like I've seen this guy in the gym grappling with some of the best at TriStar, and he's a very, very slick fighter.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think he's not quite as present as he needs to be.
Right.
And he's lost 2 fights before the win over Draco. I don't know. He just didn't seem himself in those fights, especially after that spinning elbow from Ramos.
Fractured his jaw, didn't he?
Yeah. I think sometimes it shakes a fighter.
It's not just a physiological recovery, is it? Stuff like that. There's a big mental weight to shift.
Definitely.
Morales is struggling a bit since the Contender Series, isn't he? I think he dropped to 9-5 since
he's had some tough ones as well.
Yeah.
They got Song Yadong, you got Chris Gutierrez, Benito Lopez.
Who stopped him with low kicks?
Gutierrez stopped him with low kicks.
Calf kicks, as in it shut down, or just battered his leg until it stopped working?
I think it was a mixture. I think it was a bit of both.
Right.
I'd have to watch it back though. I don't remember exactly.
I don't know.
It's a bit
I couldn't really, I don't know a massive amount about either of them, but
I mean, the thing with Rodrigues is, I mean, he's good. He's got skills, but he looks a little bit. He looks a bit rough around the edges, a bit unpolished. I mean, he's still young in his career. What is he? 9 fights in. When the opportunity's there, he's got techniques to throw at it, but I don't know as he's very good at kind of bringing the victory to himself. And I think Vince Morales, even though he's not got much more experience, the level of experience he's got is higher against the likes of Yadong and Armen Zahabi and the like. But then the explosiveness of Rodrigues could be a leveler. He reminds me of Morgan Charrier.
Right.
He looks a lot like Morgan Charrier. Fights like him as well, like a little bit too much power for him to control.
Yeah. It's like you get your car, you set up with your car wrong, and you got all this horsepower and no traction, and suddenly spinning off the road.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. Morales on leveled experience.
Yes. Yeah. I think Morales, but I think he might get a bit beat up in the first round in the process.
Right.
This next fight.
This is the one. This is what I thought we were going to.
Well, we've got 2 back-to-back here.
Yeah,
we've got 2 back-to-back.
Yeah, all about it.
I mean, this
is a good card, man.
It is a good card.
The last card was relatively average, weren't it? But they've come back with a banger.
This is a good one. Fiziev against Bobby Green.
Yeah, Bobby's had a funny career, man. He's been on.
I cornered against him once, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fought a guy called Toby Greer. He was good. Toby was good, but he just fucking had a weird night.
Yeah.
That was early though. That was on TFA.
Man, he's had like a streak of losses, a few cancelled fights, and then he grabbed 3 really solid wins in 2020, didn't he?
Yeah.
Came back with a bit of a vengeance.
He's a bit of a street fighter, isn't he? He's a bit of a more improved version of Crazy Horse, Charles.
Yeah,
Bennett,
right.
You know,
Yeah.
like good wrestling, athletic, powerful when he lands, but he's a little bit loose and a little bit kind of fights without a plan.
Yeah. That's a bad
You can't
idea.
do that against Fiziev.
That's a bad idea, man. I mean, this is the next generation coming through. I see Fiziev in that Gillespie, Sarukin, Riddell, Makachev crew. That's like, all right, we're biding our time a little bit, but we're coming, motherfuckers. You know, there's a little bit of a change in the guard. Like I know Makachev's up in the top 5 already, but those other guys, they're coming. They're coming. That's gonna be the top 5 in the next 1 to 3 years, isn't it?
Definitely. Fiziev's striking is up there in the top 1% in all the combat sports. He's so slick.
The knockout on Moyes is just...
Moicano.
Oh, Moicano, yeah.
I remember because I called his UFC debut against Mustafayev, and I remember the hype coming into that fight. I remember how excited everybody was, including people that were his teammates from Tiger Muay Thai and coaches. They were like, he's good.
Watch this.
Wait till you see Fiziev.
Yeah.
Wait till you see this guy. And he just... I think he almost kind of came in a little bit like, wait to see what I can do, and then he got caught with a spinning back kick.
Yeah,
it was just one of those things. I think if that fight played out 3 or 4 times, I think Fiziev, gets the better of him. But it was a great shot by Mustafayev.
This is his gatekeeper, isn't it?
Yeah,
this is Bobby Green is his gatekeeper.
That's a great way to put it.
I win this, and now I'm rolling.
Yeah.
Now I'm rolling up with Gillespie and Sarukian and the boys that are on the takeover.
I think they kind of rolled a dice a bit with the Moicano matchup.
Yeah.
Because I think, obviously Moicano would be a value to the top of this division because he's got a name and he's respected as a contender already from featherweight. But then, Fiziev, he made a point of that fight. I mean, a first round knockout, powerful left hook.
Yeah.
He's got that win over Chiesa, unanimous decision. I think Bobby Green's going to test him because he's a bit wild and a bit unpredictable, and he's got good wrestling as well. So I don't think Fiziev's going to be able to get this fight to the ground with ease. I think he's going to have to work hard for it.
Yeah.
And I think Bobby Green's got a good hustle all the way through the fight, a good pace. But I think ultimately Fiziev's going to just chop him down.
I think so.
It's what makes the most sense. Man. And it's going to be beautiful to watch as well. It'd be very efficient.
Yeah.
It'd be very, very efficient. With that whipping low kick that he threw. It's a bit like old Thiago Alves, the way he used to throw his low kicks.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, I've definitely got Fiziev, yeah.
Okay. Sure. This next one is a barn burner as well.
Innit?
And their records are almost exactly the same. So Song Yadong against Casey Kenny, 16-5-1 against 16-3-1. Casey Kenny's a maniac.
Yeah,
Song
this
Yadong
is critical
is a
for Song
athlete.
Yadong.
Yeah, it is.
Because there was a lot of heat around him, wasn't there? There was like 5 or 6 different people were talking about him. He's the next thing. He's alpha male. He's a super athlete, and now he's under the tutorial of the guys at Alpha Male.
Yeah. I mean, he had that majority draw against Cody Stamen. Then that fight against Marlon Vera, a lot of people were like, I don't know about that decision.
Yeah.
It was a very close fight. But then, he lost to Kyler Phillips, and I felt like
Kyler was good, man.
He looked great, but then he's come off a loss
night.
now. So, that affects his value a little bit in the
that
marketplace.
fight, DC said, Kyler's doing a great job of being gifted. And I was like, what the... I wound it back. I was like, what does that mean? I'm just out here just being gifted, really.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
He's just gifted as fuck.
And like Kyler he seemed bigger than Song in that fight.
Yeah.
Like he seemed bigger, but not at a detriment to his speed.
Mm-mm.
He was bigger and faster and in and out quicker. And yeah, man. But fair play to Song. Kyler whacked him a few times, and he just sort of took him.
Yeah.
And just walked through it.
I still feel like we didn't see Song really put his foot on the gas though. Like even all the way through the fight. I mean, he never like switched it up and seemed to really get after it. Maybe because he was just discouraged from earlier exchanges.
It's just too elusive as well.
Yeah.
Kyler just seemed to be. He just couldn't get hold of him or even sort of pin him down. He was just off every time. Yeah,
This
fair
is a
play.
different fight, though. I mean, you think back to Casey Kenny's recent fights, and he beats people up, but he stands in the pocket and beats them up. I mean, what he did to Alateng Haley with his body kick was brutal, and then he beat up Nathaniel Wood, in a very competitive but a very aggressively paced fight, and then lost a split decision to Dominic Cruz. I mean, he's right up there at the top of the division. I actually
don't want to stand in the pocket with Song Yadong, do you?
I don't know. I don't know. I think he's got a bit of a Mads Bennell kind of shoulder roll going on, because he does stand quite tight in the pocket, and he does let stuff kind of bounce and roll off him.
Right.
Like that could be quite discouraging for Song Yadong, because he does throw with power and he does expect to hurt people when he lands. And if he keeps doing that, and every time he throws hands, Casey Kenny's chopping into his legs or kicking him in the body.
I just thought,
and he's a high-level judoka as well, I believe, Casey Kenny. So
he is. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That gives him a secondary option, which I don't know if Song Yadong's got. Good wrestling for MMA, but...
But Song's wrestling's good as well, right?
Yeah. But I think it's learned for
good.
MMA, though. It's not like a system that he's got in his soul, like Casey Kenny's judo.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought the way Kyler beat Song it would be a blueprint to take that movement away and then risk sitting in the pocket with Yadong might be a problem for him.
Yeah, maybe.
I saw Song as having more ways to win it.
You reckon Song's going to do it then? Is that the way
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. He needs it. He needs it to live up to all the hype.
He does.
You'd go Casey.
I think Casey Kenny might steal it. I think he might just have a higher pace. I mean, we might literally be, looking at the numbers of strikes before they announce the decision.
Right.
You know what I mean? It might be one of those kind of fights. It might be like, but Casey Kenny landed much more, so many more low kicks, and the damage was greater. And I think it might be one of those kind of fights, because they're quite evenly matched as far as, their athleticism and their build and their potential.
Be amazed that's not a great fight.
They're pretty much the same. I mean, you've got Song Yadong's an inch taller and Casey Kenny's an inch longer in reach. Southpaw v orthodox, which means that Casey Kenny's going to be able to unload that body kick and leg kick over and over again. A slightly higher striking output for Casey Kenny, slightly higher striking defense, exactly the same striking accuracy at 42%. Yeah, I mean, Song Yadong's got a slightly higher takedown accuracy, but I don't think he's going to have as much success against Casey Kenny. No, I don't. I'm leaning slightly towards Kenny. I feel like he's a more mature fighter, and I think that's going to pay off in this fight. He's going to approach this with more of a strategy instead of more of a being talented.
Yeah, just out there being talented again.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah,
talented as fuck.
All right, cool.
Okay, so which way are you going?
I'm sticking with Song. Yeah,
sticking with his dong.
Sticking with the dong.
I think Casey Kenny's gonna just outpace him.
Yeah.
Okay, Tisha Torres against Angela Hill.
Yeah. She's got to build some consistency. Yeah,
these two got history, haven't they? Let's have a look. Yeah,
she's got to build some consistency, Angela. I know. I feel like we've spoke about her a few times on here, but she just needs to nail down that consistency.
Yeah.
And I know you said before you think developing her elbow game, because she's controlling, she's got a good clinch, developing her inside elbow game would be a huge leap for her. I'm just not sure.
So Tisha Torres has a unanimous decision win over Angela Hill back ages ago, 2015.
Yeah.
And has since then had a 4-fight losing streak, losing to Andrade, Joanna Zhang Weili and Marina Rodriguez, but then's pulled it back with 2 wins recently.
The tough run of tough people to lose.
Yeah,
that
tough group
4 in a row. That's tough. Some tough girls.
Yeah, and Angela's, she lost 2 split decisions. I mean, she was on a good streak. She lost to Yan Xiaonan by that unanimous decision back at 238. But then she had the doctor stoppage over Carnelosi. That was a nasty elbow. Hannah Cyphers, she beat the funk out of her. And then she went 3 rounds with Loma Lukbunmi, who's got 10,000 Muay Thai fights. And she did really well in that fight. But then, a split decision loss to Claudia Gadea and Michelle Watson. It's almost like okay, we found a ceiling.
Well, one of the things I was going to say is, say she goes on a, she goes on a bit of a streak. Do you see her? Can you see her up there with Nida and Rodrigues and Mackenzie Dern? Like, if she gets the chances up there, is she gonna hang at that top of that division?
I think she's going to be competitive, but I think she's going to struggle overall.
Yeah.
I think she'll lose more than she wins. But then at the same time, if she continues to develop, keep working on her game, there's no reason why she can't bridge that gap. I think this is going to be a tough fight because they're both very quick. But Tecia Torres changes range much more. Yeah, like Angela Hill does stand a little bit more Muay Thai, a bit heavier on her rear leg, and Tecia Torres is very kind of wide stance, bouncing in and out. She's a bit erratic. She charges forward, tiny tornado, isn't it?
Yeah.
Charges forward, throwing a flurry of punches. But then if she runs herself into the clinch, that's when her physicality comes over. And I mean, she looks like she's been a lifelong gymnast.
Yeah.
She's physically very strong. But if Angela Hill is able to stand her ground when she rushes her, dig that back foot in and meet her with elbows and knees, there's no reason why Angela Hill can't win this fight. But I think she's going to swing and miss a lot. And I think that's going to be quite frustrating.
It's probably a decision, right?
Probably a decision.
They have a lot of decisions between them, don't they?
They do.
It probably ends up a decision. It's going to be pretty close.
And unless, like I said, unless Angela can run her onto an elbow or turn her in the clinch and catch her with an elbow, and then, then we're looking at doctor stoppages. Because she is lethal with those elbows. I think Tecia Torres wins a decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little bit on the fence. I'd like to see Angela build some consistency because those, a couple of split decisions, she's not that far away from it. It'd be interesting to see where she can get to in that division. But like I sort of alluded to, I'm not sure she's up there with the top women.
Not quite. Yeah. It's almost like she's found a ceiling. Yeah. But I also feel like Tecia Torres' ceiling's kind of around the same area. Right. So
that's why it'll be a close decision.
Yeah. I mean, what they're 8 and 9 in the top 10. Is that right? I mean, they're trading places, aren't they, really? Where are they? Oh, 10 and 12.
Right.
So Amanda Hebaz is getting it from both sides.
I don't know where to go
in the
with
rankings.
I do not know where to go with that. I expect more from you.
No, you don't.
To be honest.
You don't. This is what happens. I devolve when I spend more time at the gym.
Mate, 100%. 100%.
Even like my posture's changing and like my forehead's dropping.
Eat off the floor now.
Oh, mate, of course. Of course. Like the 5-minute rule's turned into 5-hour rule. 5-minute rule, 5-second rule.
Here we go. 5 versus 6. Ooh. Absolute pivotal fight for both of them, innit?
Striker v grappler.
Yep.
Are we talking cliches?
Vicente Luque versus Chiesa.
Which way are you going? Straight off the bat, which way are you going?
Luque.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah.
What, striking clinic, stuff in his takedowns?
I think so. He's nasty, man, isn't he? He's got some real high-level striking.
Yep.
And vicious. He's got that vicious ground and pound, and he's got that Anaconda and Darce setup, hasn't he? That he uses. Now, obviously, Chiesa's got a very, very good ground game, controlling ground game, hasn't he? I'd be amazed if Vicente can sub him. But if he puts on a striking, if he puts on a bit of a masterclass and beats him up and cuts him up and batters him, then who knows where that ends.
Yeah, the fight to watch, and I know it was a long time ago, but Chiesa against Masvidal is the fight to watch. I can see it going very much this way.
Right,
like Luque walks him down, has the better of the striking exchanges. Yeah. We start getting some kind of sloppier entries from Chiesa, who will try and keep climbing to his back and stuff. But ultimately, in the hustle, I think Chiesa might get caught or hurt, elbow or knee, perhaps, and then we might shoot into a Darce or an Anaconda. I mean that's what happened against Masvidal. That was a second round Darce. Kevin Lee caught him in a rear naked choke. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I would imagine that Vicente Luque is going to try and stay in front of him, neck attacks and Muay Thai, and not try and take his back.
I mean, I think Chiesa can win this. There's ways he can win this. He's a
big dude for a welterweight as well. I know he came up from lightweight, but he is a big guy. Like, he could use his reach advantage in this fight.
And there's a reason he's, ranked where he's ranked. I mean, it'll be fascinating to watch how it plays out standing and how quickly this Chiesa can get this to the floor. Because if you're massively rolling the dice if you're Chiesa and you choose to stand up for any longer than you need to with Luque, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's going to get chopped down if he stays standing. Southpaw the orthodox again, so it opens up the body kicks for Luque. It opens up the inside low kick. Plus the strikes landed per minute for Chiesa are considerably lower than Luque. Vicente Luque's 5.74 strikes per minute. Chiesa's 1.89.
Yeah.
It's really low, that is.
Yeah, they're hard.
But striking accuracy is low. Like, maybe a smart thing for Chiesa to do would be to use his grappling skills to put him in advantageous positions to strike. Because often he seems to be trying to prove a point that his jiu-jitsu is awesome. And you know what I mean? He sometimes he bypasses opportunities to beat someone up to try and sub them.
Yeah.
And I think when it gets to this level, this echelon of contender, you've got to just take him out any way you can. And you've got to put as much money in the bank as possible as the fight progresses, because he's going to be taking chunks out of Chiesa.
Yeah,
like the venom in this fight is definitely on Luque's side, and that could be the deciding factor.
Yeah, I agree.
I like Chiesa, but I do think this is a tough fight for him. He's not got a reach advantage either.
He's quite nice. He seems quite a nice dude, Chiesa. He
is. He's wicked. He's wicked.
Just a bit of,
we had dinner with him a couple of times in Fight Island, didn't we? Yeah. No, he is a good dude, Chiesa. He's a lot of fun.
And not that Vicente isn't, but there's some spite in when he throws. He throws and he throws to hurt you bad.
Yeah. He's in his head. He's ready to be in the mix with the top contenders. And I don't think Chiesa's quite arrived at that level of confidence yet. I think he might. He says it, but
yeah,
I think actually, feeling it, believing it is a different thing.
He slipped up with the Wonder Boy, didn't he? That was his slip up. But that's
Chiesa.
No.
Luque.
Yeah. He slip up with Wonder Boy.
Yeah,
sure he did.
But it was a decision, though. It was a decision. I mean,
and we know what sort of puzzle that is, isn't it? Yeah. That's a tricky puzzle for anyone.
He's had some good runs. Like, if you look at him coming off the Ultimate Fighter 21 back in 2015, he's got Anaconda, Darce, first round stoppage, and that last one that I mentioned was Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah.
Then he loses a decision to Leon Edwards. Then he darces Nico Price. He stops Chad LaPriest in the first, stops Jalen Turner in the first, Brian Barberina in the third, Derrick Krantz in the first, split decisions Mike Perry, and wrecks his nose.
Yeah.
I was on the flight back from Uruguay, mate. He was smelling around corners on the way home from that flight. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was one of the worst nose breaks I've ever seen. It was from a knee. Then loses a decision to Thompson, and now he's pulled back 3 good wins, including
Price, Brown, Woodley, choking Woodley.
Yeah, this is definitely a step up for Chiesa, and I think it's Luque's time to move on, and Chiesa's time to establish, and I don't think this is the fight to do it.
Yeah, it's tough. I've definitely got Luque.
Yeah. One thing I will say about Chiesa though is he'll try and train with everybody in the building.
Right.
Like, he was pulling mats out into corridors to train with Nogueira and stuff. He's a real student of the game.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, good fight, but I'm leaning towards Luque on that one. Okay, co-main.
Wow.
Right.
I couldn't be more of a fan of this fight really.
Tell me about it.
Jose is just a legend, isn't he? He's given us so many good fights to watch, and his techniques and his toughness and how nasty he is. He's just and like Pedro Munoz, we've mentioned numerous times, he's a fan favourite. He's someone that he's never bought a boring fight, has he? I mean, the Pedro Frankie fight was like insane level and insane output. It's fun to watch. Like
same with the
whole time,
fights.
Like they've fought twice, right? They got one in the bank, haven't they? They're 1-1.
Very similar fights as well. The point of difference being the calf kick.
Yeah,
like I've done a war room on this and the main event. The thing that stuck out in my mind, Pedro Munoz landed 40 low kicks against Jimmy Rivera in that last fight.
Yeah.
And we all know that Aldo, from back in the WEC days, was a low kick destroyer. But he has dropped off recently. You know, I think his last fight he threw
It's
maybe
too cool for it.
7
Like
or 8.
he was doing it before it was cool, and now he's like, I don't do that.
Now
shit
he's not
anymore.
into it anymore. Now he's looking for body shots.
Yeah.
But you know, I think this is a very competitive striking match. I think Aldo's maybe slightly slower than he used to be, and I think his pace is not as good as it was. But this is 3 rounds. I think Aldo over 3 rounds looks really
it's
good.
pretty good.
You know, that lead leg is going to be the key for both guys because they're going to be smashing their lead legs. And Aldo,
You know they're the same age.
that's crazy, isn't it? I know.
That does not feel like when you just look at those two names, you not think they're the same age.
No way.
Chronologically, they're the same age.
Chronologically, but as far as fighter years and dog years, very similar.
Yeah.
You know, Aldo's like 48.
I mean, Munoz must be less worn. He must
You
be
would think
less
so,
worn.
but he does stand in the pocket and take a lot of shots.
Yeah,
Like, he does stand in the pocket and take a lot of shots.
You sort of love him because he'll do that.
Like, if you think back to Aldo's career when he was coming through WEC and moving over to the UFC as the featherweight champ, he wasn't getting beaten up in his fights much. I mean, he was too fast for most people. Like he handled Chad Mendes twice.
Yeah. So
You know?
I had this question down already for you. So where's peak Aldo? Is it coming out of WEC? Is it that Mendes Edgar Chan Sung Jung role that he sort of went on?
Let's have a look.
He's a touch older, he's a touch slower now, but there was a time where, there was a lot of people talking about Jose Aldo.
Let's have a look. Okay, so some of these fights were just brutal.
That's that chronological age versus actual fight age.
Well, the first one I would advise anybody to watch is Jose Aldo Cub Swanson at WEC 41, where he stops him with a flying knee in 8 seconds, and it was like, when MVP sparks, didn't spark him, but smashed his face literally. Cyborg, the way that Cyborg went down holding his face, like Cub Swanson looked like he was in a lot of pain. It was such a cleanly timed knee, and he was so fast. Then he stopped Mike Brown with punches in the second round. Then he beat the
shit out of Uriah.
Mate, that leg was gross. It was unbelievable.
That's what I'm sort of alluding to. Like, is that Swanson, Brown, Faber, Manny Gaborian?
I wonder if they've got the stats. I don't think so. I think it was later than that. I think he was still quite reckless in those times. Hominick was an awesome performance, but that first fight against Mendes was probably his best performance at the time. I mean, the way that he handled Frankie Edgar and the Korean Zombie when he faced him, Chad Mendes the second time, I would say between
he's peaking going into Conor.
I think so. I think maybe he was at his peak when he signed with the UFC, and then he stayed at his peak for, what is that? That's 3 years.
1, 2. Yeah, there you go. That's.
Is that about right?
Yeah.
I'd say that. I think the best performance is that first stoppage over Chad Mendes was awesome. He's 156 fight against Frankie Edgar, absolutely electric. And then his second fight against Chad Mendes, like there are certain moments in that I can pick out and I can go, like, there was a point where Mendes tried to take him down and he did like a double hip bomb.
Yeah. I know exactly the bit you mean. I know exactly the bit you mean.
That is just so. It was
like an air sprawl at one stage, wasn't it? It was just like left hip, right hip, left hip.
He was so good. He was so good. I mean, in recent years, that body shot over Jeremy Stevens was one of the best I've seen. But I definitely think that was his peak. Maybe between the Chad Mendes fights, maybe Chad got the best of him both ends.
Unfortunate for Chad.
Yeah. He got the worst of both ends.
I mean, this will be brutal, right? There's no way this fight is not,
no,
it's not going to be brutal. It'll be a massacre
for sure. And I'm thinking the hard-nosed style of Pedro Munoz might put him in range to hurt Aldo, and I can see him attacking a neck. He's got wicked guillotines if Aldo gets hurt.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, he puts himself right in range to take shots. And Aldo's not going to take those calf kicks without giving you something back. Yeah. It just might not be low kicks.
It's too much to ask for Aldo.
It's a tough ask.
I don't feel like Pedro's slowed down. Like
No,
if
he
I
was never.
watched him recently. He's got a good tempo to him.
Yeah.
Whereas Aldo,
He's got pace and not speed. That's a good way
Yeah.
to consider Pedro Munoz. He's not a speedy fighter, but he's well paced.
Yeah.
And he's a bit heavy on his
He'll
feet.
keep at 80% the whole time, won't he? And he'll pressure at 80%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which way are you going?
I just don't know if it's just a bridge too far for Jose Aldo.
A bridge too far.
It feels bad trying to pick against him though.
I know, but
yeah.
if you're being logical,
maybe,
you go with Pedro Munoz
maybe.
by avalanche, just by being too much.
Yeah.
Just bang, 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 chop, chop, bang,
It's
bang,
3
chop,
rounds though. Do you know
chop.
what I mean? Like
Level change.
Yeah.
Aldo hustles up. He's
and they go
a bit
again.
more tired.
And
Then
you
it's
just go
bang,
again.
bang,
Yeah.
bang, chop, chop.
Yeah.
Then maybe he catches Aldo and rocks him. Aldo level changes into a guillotine. That's a scenario if I play it out a few times in my head, I come
See
around
that
to
working.
that. The pressure breaking Aldo up against the fence.
I like a bit of logic.
Of course you like a bit of logic. You like numbers and maths and
Yeah.
all
I
that
like
kind of
I
shit.
like a bit of logic.
I think Aldo's going to do it.
Yeah.
No.
Pedro.
I like both of these guys.
Yeah,
I'm
yes.
not. I would struggle to pick either way.
That's definitely my favourite fight on the card.
They're my favourite 2 fighters on the card.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're facing one another.
Yeah.
I think
Pedro.
fight of the night. It's going to be tough for them to beat Kenny and Yadong and Fiziev and Bobby Green, because I think although Pedro Munoz can set a pace that would compare, I don't think Aldo's at that stage anymore.
Yeah.
I think he's more about precision.
Yeah.
Saved it.
We'll lock him in. Lock Pedro in.
Okay. Derrick, do you want a quick check to see if he's ready to record with Phil Rowe? We'll do the main event.
So when we talk about our trifecta of types of athlete or types of fighter in the
the archetypes.
Yeah. I mean, it's
called a Venn diagram, isn't it?
Is that what it's called? Venn diagram? Yeah, there you go.
3 intersecting.
So these are quite clear, right? You've got a martial arts athlete in Ciryl Gane, like quite clearly, and you've got almost an out and out fighter in Derrick Lewis.
Yeah.
I think you said like Derrick has that. He just has that embossed violence on his DNA. Like when it goes, it goes. Like he's hitting you with some serious heat, and he's hitting you to end you. Whereas you don't necessarily see that from Ciryl Gane, right? He's very athletic. Obviously, he's trying to inflict damage on his opponent, but it just doesn't seem in the same way. Like he's a bit more controlled. You can see like. I don't know if it's going to make sense, but you can see martial arts coming out of him. You can see technique coming out of him. And obviously that's coupled with his athleticism because he's incredibly athletic for a guy that size, the way he moves and the bounce he has.
This is an interesting conversation, though, is how their athleticism compares. Because Ciryl Gane is, rubber bands and jumping rope and bouncing in and out and circuit training and all that kind of stuff. Derrick Lewis is, I can generate this massive amount of force like a shot putter. Like he'd be an awesome shot putter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he just needs to launch this thing one time.
Gone.
As hard as he can. Yeah. But like because that's what his like say if they were their superpowers. If Derrick Lewis is the the wrecking ball, and Ciryl Gane is the electric man. He zaps him and stings him. You know what I mean? Like a bit tases him every time he touches him. Like the two differences in the power mean that Lewis always knows he only needs one shot, whereas Ciryl always knows he needs a volume. So his volume's measured and applied, whereas Derrick Lewis applies it violently, recklessly, because he only knows he needs one, and he doesn't bolster it with anything else. I think this is quite interesting because you look at Derrick Lewis, and although he does the skip lead high kick and the jumping knee, and sometimes he'll work a body lock, the focus is always this is the easiest way for me to end a fight. Yeah. So I'm gonna
manipulate what's in front of me to get it
for sure,
get it done.
Whether it's walking down or backing up and waiting for them to come to him. Ciryl, when he's throwing, Derrick Lewis will try and take your head off with one right hand. Ciryl will try and connect with your chin and tag you. He'll try and sting you, and he'll measure it and he'll pull it out and he'll be away. But this is why we've not seen him take any clean shots so far in his career. I mean, I know he's only had 9 fights in MMA, but I can't think of anybody that's hit him cleanly. And Tanabosa's one of the quickest heavyweights on the roster, and he couldn't get close to him. Yeah, like to the point where he was frustrated and he was getting caught with counters.
That's like a superpower at heavyweight. You know what I mean? Being able to not get hit at heavyweight is like you don't really see it, do you?
Not at all.
Tanabosa, we're saying he's fast, but he gets hit, he gets clipped
for sure. Yeah,
yeah. Cyryl's fascinating from an athletic point of view. Yeah. You don't see big guys move like that. You don't necessarily see big guys with the array of techniques that he has. But I don't know. Part of me wonders whether if you're going to be the champ of the heavyweights, it's different, innit? It's just different. Yeah. You're going to be the champ of the heavyweights. Do we need to see some venom?
I mean,
or do like it's
I don't know.
I don't know. How does it work?
Like, did we see venom out of? Did we see venom out of Usman in his last couple of performances against Masvidal and Gilbert Burns, or was it measured precision power?
That phrase makes more sense to me.
It does, right?
But heavyweights.
Yeah, but there's a value to precision power, and Ciryl Gane's 245 pounds. Like, if he can't generate knockout punches, then he needs to learn how to strike all over again. Yeah, because just generally, someone who's 6'4". I mean, he's got a 2-inch reach advantage on Derrick Lewis as well. He's a faster fighter. He's 15, 20 pounds lighter. It doesn't mean he shouldn't be able to generate the same force. I tell you, if you put him on a DEXA scan, Derrick Lewis is probably looking a bit lighter than Ciryl Gane.
Yeah, it's probably similar lean mass.
Yeah, but the difference is Ciryl Gane's got like marathon runner muscle tissue where he can go for 25 minutes. But because of that, he's had to refine his game.
He's got that hybrid though, because he has the tendons of a sprinter where he can bounce and get in and out very quickly.
But then, do they not fatigue?
Not necessarily the tendons. The mass of his muscle in sprinters fatigues, but the tendons are just elastic properties. I think we've said this before. I think Ciryl Gane's the future. Like, I do think that archetype comes through. It's just the heavyweight thing. Like, the heavyweights, man, it's just different. Yeah. It's just different.
I mean no disrespect to Derrick Lewis in this way, but he's almost like the 21st century Tank Abbott. Like, when people are watching Tank Abbott, they're like, yeah, he shouldn't win.
Last.
He shouldn't win. But
he's winning.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's like, he's like a. I mean, I know Tank Abbott. Before anybody says it, he was a power lifter, and he had a wrestling background. Yeah. He was a seasoned brawler. Let's put it that way. Derrick Lewis is the same version of that same fighter. He's the same archetype as a Tank Abbott. Like, Tank Abbott shouldn't be the heavyweight champion of the world because he should always stumble at those final hurdles where the guys meet power and athleticism with better technique. And like I said, I'm not saying that Ciryl Gane doesn't have power. I just think that he maybe is so measured that he doesn't really unleash it. I mean, when you see him fight Dontel Mays, who again is about 6'4", 6'5", catches him with a clean flying knee up against the fence that drops him. He does get after it sometimes, but that may be what costs him in the Derrick Lewis fight. And I also wonder if the pressure of him coming off 2 25-minute decisions, whether there's pressure...
Whispers in his ear about needing to... I mean, this is a different challenge for Derrick, striking challenge for Derrick, because Curtis, Olenek, Latifi and Ivanov is not the same. That's not the same picture he's being presented with.
No, it's not.
They look like they've seen that Derrick can whack, and they want to know whether he can deal with wrestlers. So they're giving four guys in a row. Yeah. Obviously you passed that test, but this is a very different challenge.
It is very different. I mean, Ivanov is very flat-footed. He's a small heavyweight as well. He's undersized. Latifi was coming up to heavyweight and was desperate to get the takedown and struggled. Olenek is an anomaly. He's such an anomaly in the division. And Curtis Blades is a fantastic wrestler whose kryptonite is one-punch knockout artists. Like, this is the thing, is if you put Curtis Blades up against Ciryl Gane, like, Curtis Blades most likely will be able to take Ciryl Gane down and hold him down and beat him up.
Yeah.
But But the punch power difference between Derrick Lewis and Ciryl Gane is the difference in the result of that fight against Curtis Blades. And of course, I'm only speculating, but my money would be on Curtis Blades going into that fight with Ciryl Gane. Like, if you're Curtis Blades, you want Ciryl Gane to beat Derrick Lewis and then go on and beat Ngannou so he can get a title shot against someone that doesn't...
Because he knows he's probably got the game that fits the puzzle.
Yeah. And like I said, nothing against Derrick Lewis, but he's just not a good expression of high-level mixed martial arts. He's an expression of what refinement of raw power can be at the most basic level and how far that can get you at heavyweight.
Yeah.
Right?
But like we've said a few times, you couldn't do that in other weights. The necessity for higher skills across a broader range changes a little bit at heavyweight.
For sure.
Where, you can for now get away with it, but I don't think you're going to get away with it for long. Because how hard can you punch? Like in 10 years, the Derrick Lewis of in 10 years' time is not going to punch much harder than Derrick Lewis. Like, there's a finite level that we can get to.
Yeah.
But breadth and depth of technique is, good luck. When do you master it?
That's it. The amount of Derrick Lewis type heavyweights in the US right now might be 100.
Yeah.
In 10 years, if it's 1,000, then the skill level is going to be much higher than the current Derrick Lewis that we've got.
Yeah.
I would say Derrick Lewis would probably beat Tank Abbott.
You would think you would,
but the Tank Abbott archetype, the Derrick Lewis archetype in 5-10 years time should be able to beat Derrick Lewis by being a better fighter.
I just wonder whether I don't think you can be that archetype in 10 years time. Like the filtration processes, people just get too good.
They'll still exist. They'll just be on
they'll just be better.
Yeah, they'll just be on lower level shows.
Yeah. Well, or they'll have that. It will be recognised early, and the breadth and depth of technique will be coached into them.
True that. Yeah. And they won't. The money will be better in the sport, so they won't go to NFL and NBA and MLB and football and whatever else they do.
Yeah. There's a lot of power punches in them sports. They just don't know about it.
Mate, I was thinking about this, right? You're like, okay, like Derrick Lewis was in better shape when he signed his UFC contract. He might have been a bit lighter, but he was in better shape, right? Imagine if there was NFL money in the UFC and all of a sudden the likes of Larry Fitzgerald comes over.
Yeah.
Like, can you, like, he's like a super version of John Jones.
Yeah.
Like, imagine taking a Larry Fitzgerald and training him up from when he was like 12 or 15.
Yeah.
You know?
Insane.
And he grows into that kind of athlete. Like MMA in 10 years' time is going to look like some kind of sci-fi fucking thing.
Isn't it? Well, they call the NFL the freak league, don't they? Because you basically can't play unless you're genetically a freak. The top 0.1%.
Mate,
this is a dangerous game to be turning this into the freak league.
When I was training in Vegas with Frank Mir, and we were going up to run in Mount Charleston, he would bring a friend with him who used to play for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
And we must have fucking looked like Russian dolls. Like, for as big as Frank Mir was compared to me, this guy was that big again compared to Frank. He was massive.
Yeah, it's just I don't think people until you meet someone, say an offensive lineman, until you meet someone and you see what 360 pounds looks like, you don't get it.
That's crazy.
You just don't get it.
What super athletes that you've worked with stuck out in your mind? Anybody that you think, MMA, give me 6 months. Bring him over to Rough House for 6 months.
Well,
the Tuolagi brothers.
Yeah, I mean they're what I say.
I remember which one of the brothers was it that was benching 240 kilos?
Well, he dropped 200 on his chest. Did I ever tell you about that?
No.
He's got 200 kilos in an open grip like this. Just benching it for fun, like just like whatever, and it slipped off, bounced off his chest, caught it again, just racked it up. Just went off for a little walk. Henry Tuolagi, who I had at Leicester, was 100. This was in shape, so he's out of shape now, and I think he's 139, 140 kilos. So he was he was 129 kilos in shape. Like, and don't forget, you're running in rugby. Yeah. You're not on the. You're not doing 6 seconds work having a rest. You have to have the capabilities of running 2K, but completely. You've got say 6-7K you're putting under your belt. He would. Yeah.
Would he be?
Yeah, he would be that.
Well,
he would be that heavyweight. You'd have to get him early though. You'd have to get him you'd have to get him real early.
Jeez. So 230 kilos. Sorry, 130 kilos is 286 pounds.
Yeah, that's a big boy. And I don't think he would be that big in the NFL. I think there's bigger dudes. There's much bigger dudes.
Yeah.
The most talented guy that would just pick it up. Like he would pick it up by accident. Is Quade Cooper,
right?
Like, and he went into boxing and he just like basically got it. Oh yeah, I got it now. I got it now. And he did it was obviously it was a managed boxing career. Like they picked the right guys for him and stuff. But fair play, man. He could just move. He could just move, and he was coachable, and he just got it. And his ability to manipulate space. He understood space, but he did that on the rugby field. His whole position was about moving people around without them really knowing they were being moved around, and then putting the ball in different directions or putting people through. And he just understood space. And I think you spend enough time in pro sport and performance sport, being able to manipulate space seems to be a common
big part of it.
Yeah, common theme across all sports. It's like, oh, you know space, well, you'll be good.
Yeah,
you'll be good at whatever.
It's like it's space management, and then off the back of that, being able to predict and manipulate what people are going to do.
Yeah.
Like
you always, it, being able to manipulate you without you knowing you're being manipulated.
Yeah, it's a bit of voodoo. It is a bit. But you hear people saying it across team sports, he's like, if someone's a veteran of the game, he can read the game really well. That basically means that he can see all the pieces on the table and he can predict which ways they're going to move and then find his way through it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like we would, it's changed a little bit now, but we'd have long debates about, we might have talked about this before, the GPS reading. So you put a GPS on your back, and I know how far you've run, and how many sprints you've done, and whatever. But some of the best players weren't doing the most; they were just doing the most efficient. I'm not running over there. He's going to be over here in a minute. Why would I waste that 50 meters there when I could just wait here? It's all going to come back around, and I'll do my job. Yeah, and it was like, you can't always have a quantitative measure on something that has a qualitative essence to it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, throw 1,000 punches. I'm gonna throw 5 when I land them right on the button. Yeah,
that's the Derrick Lewis circles us right back to this fight. Does Derrick Lewis land the one big punch, or does Ciryl Gane land the 500 that he needs to land to win over 25 minutes?
I think Ciryl wins it.
You do?
I think Ciryl wins it, but
what decision?
The problem is though, it's like, all right, Derrick Lewis, bet against me. Go on then, bet against me. That's exactly what I want you to do. Yeah. Go on, bet against me. Yeah. It's fine. I'm going to do the same thing either way.
I mean, we kind of should bet against Derrick Lewis, because everyone that Derrick Lewis faces should be better than him, technically. Yeah. Because he should be
winning.
But he keeps winning. This is it, I mean, I think Lewis is going to catch him.
Do you?
I do. I think Cyryl's going to feel pressure from his last 2 decision wins, both 25 minutes. I think he's going to feel like he's got Derrick Lewis hurt or tired. I mean, the 2 fights that stick out in my mind with Derrick Lewis is, obviously Volkov, where he bingoed him in the last 10 seconds, but the other one is Travis Brown. Travis Brown had him hurt with front kicks to the body, he had him hurt with knees, and he got too close, and he got a whiff of that right hand, and it put him down twice. Yeah.
Can't write him off, can you?
You can't, because I think at some point people need to get close to him to do something in 25 minutes. He only needs one. Yeah. And I hate to say it, but I think he might be able to clip Ciryl. I would like to see Ciryl win, but I do also think it's a bit early in his career, And, I don't think Derrick Lewis and Ngannou too will be a bad thing, because they've both got a point to prove after the last one was so bad. So, which way are you going then? You going Ciryl?
Yeah, I'm going Ciryl. I'm betting on the future. Of
course you are.
Betting on the future.
On the specimen.
Yeah.
Nice one. Well, I'll go Derrick Lewis just to switch it up then.
All right.
Wicked.
Good stuff. Jump on fullreptile.co.uk and check out all the brand new t-shirts and snapbacks and the Patreon training line. Jump on the Patreon. Jump on the Patreon. Patreon.com/. Fucking this up real good, aren't I?
You're terrible at it.
Patreon.com/full reptile for the behind the scenes Roughhouse Uncensored. You won't regret it. It's very funny. A lot of the time at my expense. Nice, mate.
Nice one.
See you next week.
Catch you next time. Cheers.